So in this video we're going to look at a quick example that puts some of the steps together and how we mix and match the quantifier type of steps inside of JAPE, as well as some of the propositional logic deduction type of stuff that you've seen earlier on in the course. So this is the example we're going to try and prove here. For all x, h of x implies p of x. We also know that there exists an x where h of x holds, and we want to be able to deduce that there exists an x where p of x holds. So what you'll learn fairly quickly is if you're moving forward, a universal elimination requires a variable, it requires an actual I type of thing. And conversely, a backward step on existential, the existential introduction, it needs a variable as well. And so usually where you would start for the predicate logic deduction type of steps is to say, okay, existential, we can go forward by introducing these variables, or universal, we could go backwards introducing these variables. So here we have an existential as one of our premises. So we use an existential elimination, and this creates our assumption for us. And now from this point, we do have that variable introduced, and so I can control click the two of these and say, in a forward pass, I want to do a universal elimination. And this sort of binds, for all x to this actual I. So we know now that for a given I that we're using here for a variable stand-in, we have h of I implies p of I. And so we can use our simple propositional logic forward step for an implication elimination, and we now get p of I. Now the final step here is to say, for some actual I, this holds, and we want to substitute it in here to say, there exists an x where p of x holds. Well, precisely that x is when x equals I. So the final step to do this here is to click the existential quantifier that you have, and then find your variable that you want to tie it to. So in a backward step, it's an existential introduction. We're introducing it into line 5. And by doing so, it sort of ties this together to complete the proof. So this is a common strategy when you're doing predicate logic proofs. When you're moving forward, you can create these variables using existential elimination. And when you're moving backwards, you can do universal introduction. And we'll see examples of that coming up.